Good evening. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and please remain standing for the invocation by Monsignor Michael Manning. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
We have a very special guest here. His name is Jackson Del Duke. Jackson, would you please stand up with a little bit of help? Beautiful. How old?
It'll be 4 weeks. This week.
4 weeks. And the neat thing is, he was sleeping before I started my talk. I don't know if we can show. He's a beautiful baby.
Yeah, he's coming.
How about that, huh? Now, if my prayer is too long, please don't pinch him so he cries. Some people do that to me. Special event tonight, promotions and swearing in. Lord, may these new leaders accept the responsibility to perform the responsibilities well, but also to discover the potential in those they supervise. From the first moment of the new positions, we pray they will be reflecting on who will be best suited to replace them, because that's what leadership is all about. A true leader has the confidence, Lord, we know, to stand alone, the courage to make decisions, compassion to listen to the needs of others, which is so important today. He does not set out to be a leader, but becomes one by integrity, intent, and quality of character. Lord, we know in some ways imagination is more important than intelligence. Sometimes very intelligent people don't know what to do with it. It takes those who are imaginative around them to help. Remind us, Lord, the servant leader is one who completes himself when he serves and leads, to care for the performance of others, to support and empower the gifts and talents of those around him. Because there's no limit to the amount of good we can do if we don't care who gets the credit. So, Lord, also for those beginning in their law enforcement journey to serve and protect, we pray they will seek your wisdom. Lord, may they balance reinforcement of the law, enforcement of the law, with compassion for the person who violates it, because sometimes there with the grace of God goes me. May these officers seek out mentors to help them discern the most appropriate responses, especially in times of difficult situations. May they be officers who balance and seek wisdom and justice, especially for victims. Bless them all, Lord. Keep them safe. Give them the wisdom of your Spirit, that they might always, we pray, act justly, love tenderly, and walk humbly with you, their God. Amen. And I have a copy for Jackson. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Monsignor Mannion. This regular meeting of the Township Council is being held in accordance with the schedule of the meetings of Township Council established and adopted by Township Council which schedule designated the time, date, and place of this meeting. Adequate public notice of this meeting has been provided pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act. We are using an electronic amplifying and recording device in order to obtain a clear and audible record. And we request all of those wishing to speak be recognized and state your name and address directly into the microphone. The recording device will be solely utilized by the Township Clerk's Office for the preparation of minutes and shall be the official record of the Township Council meetings. Madam Clerk, may I have the roll call, please?
Mr. Hutchison.
Present.
Ms. Grace.
Here.
Mrs. Albrecht Troxel.
Here.
Mrs. Stubbs.
She's absent.
Mrs. Winters.
Here.
Mr. Mignon.
Here.
Mr. Mercado.
Present.
Mr. Barlamere.
Here.
Mr. Cordis.
Here.
Chief Harkins.
Here.
Mr. McGill.
Here.
We have a presentation tonight. I'm going to hand this over to Chief Harkins.
Thank you, Mr. President, and I'd ask you to join me and along with Mayor. Tonight is one of the best nights for us in the police department when we get to have new officers sworn in ceremoniously and to have new leadership promoted and publicly acknowledged by all the officers and their families here tonight in front of our government here, in front of our government officials, our council. And so we're very proud tonight. We've been going through some changes just because of normal retirements and whatnot. So we are so fortunate to have government officials that supports the police department. We have such a large turnout. You'll notice we have 6 of our police recruits that are in the police academy here to witness, with the hope of them achieving this sometime in the near future. And we have many officers, so I want to welcome everyone, officers and their families, as well as the community that's here. Thank you, Monsignor Mannion, for your blessing and your ongoing support to the men and women of the Gloucester Township Police Department and law enforcement throughout South Jersey. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention it tonight. On Friday, a neighboring agency, Deptford Township Police Department, had an officer that was shot in the line of duty, and he was seriously wounded. He's still got a long recovery to go. I was at an event in Camden at our prosecutor's office shortly around the time this was all going on, and I stopped at the Cooper Hospital just to show support for the officers of Deptford Township, as well as the other chiefs of police. Since we're a neighboring town, I know the chief well, and to give any assistance that we could. That's what we do as cops. We come together in those times of need. And at the time I arrived, there were many officers very distraught from Deptford Township and all out, obviously concerned about their fellow officer. Family members were in a room, and the officer was in surgery in very critical condition. I noticed that there was no chaplains on location yet. I contacted Monsignor Mannion, who I know isn't far, and he's very familiar with responding up there to Cooper, and he was on the scene in about 10 minutes. And let me just tell you that what he did was astonishing. We brought the officers together to say a prayer for the wounded officer, and just his technique of calming everyone, speaking to the officers. And he started out by saying, "Tell me about Bobby." And boy, it broke everybody. All the officers started to talk to him, and they needed to, it was like a cork that needed to be popped. And so he brought that, and then we got word that he was done well in surgery. And this officer has a long way to go. He has had multiple surgeries since Friday, but he is recovering well. So I'd ask you to keep him in your prayers, as well as the family, the Deptford Township Police Department. And I want to thank Monsignor Mannion for dropping what he was doing on a Friday afternoon to join us. And it was so much needed, and the support that we brought together. And that brings us here tonight for leadership. You know, we're proud. We're promoting a lieutenant. We're promoting 4 sergeants that are replacements for officers that are retired. We have 2 officers that have completed their field training and are getting sworn in tonight. And you know, I look at these leaders that are coming up through the ranks, and I know that the Gloucester Township Police Department is in good hands because they're such high quality officers and leaders, and they've had great mentors throughout and examples to be shown. So without further, I'm going to ask Deputy Chief Anthony Manazzi to join me Lieutenant Melissa Capana, Lieutenant Don Gansey to assist me. And we're going to begin by promoting Lieutenant Anthony Massey. I want to introduce Lieutenant Gansky as our new Community Relations Bureau Commander. He'll be taking over on April 1st officially, and he's being trained by Lieutenant Capana, who has 8 working days left. She is retiring in the near future, and she's been a critical member of my staff, a trusted confidant, and I wish her all the best. We'll be doing a radio call in her final, but this is one of her final public events serving in that capacity. And Lieutenant, I want to thank you for all your years of service and all your. I'd ask Lieutenant Anthony Massey to help join me. Lieutenant, if you have your family come forward as well. A little bit about Lieutenant Massey. He was hired as a Class 1 Special Law Enforcement Officer for the Gloucester Township Police Department in 2007. Then he was hired as a Corrections Officer for the Camden County Department of Corrections in March of 2009. Then he was hired in Gloucester Township on January 14th, 2010 as a graduate from the Camden County College Police Academy number 55. He served as a patrol officer and was appointed as a patrol shift investigator on June 16, 2014. He was appointed as a member of the crisis negotiation team as a negotiator on May 1st, 2015. And one of the duties Lieutenant Capana held for many years as commander of the crisis negotiation team. She'll be retiring. Upon her retirement, Lieutenant Massey will be taking over that leadership role as the team commander on April 1st, 2023. The lieutenant was assigned as a detective on October 4th, 2015, serving in both our retail theft unit. He was the first retail theft detective that we've had and established that unit and made it a tremendous success that we continue to this day. And he also served as a detective in our intelligence services unit prior to that. He was promoted to Sergeant of Police on July 11, 2018, and was assigned as a patrol deputy platoon commander. He was assigned as the Investigations Bureau Deputy Commander on November 1st, 2019, upon my taking command as chief, until September 1st, 2022. And he was officially promoted on that day, and he is currently assigned as a patrol platoon commander for our 4th platoon. Lieutenant Massey was named the Police Officer of the Year in 2014. He has merit awards, 2 merit awards, 2 police service citations, 6 distinguished unit citations, and 12 outstanding police work letters. He was also named Supervisor of the Year, another award, in 2020, and he was again nominated this past year. Tonight he is joined here by his mother, Lori, his father, who is a retired Gloucester Township Police Detective, Tony Massey, and his girlfriend, Nicole. Mayor, President Mercado, I respectfully request that you ceremoniously swear in Lieutenant Anthony Massey to the rank of Lieutenant of Police for the Gloucester Township Police Department.
Happy to do so. If you could please raise your right hand, place your left hand on the Bible, and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Anthony Massey,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United
that
States
I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
I further solemnly swear
I further solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all of my responsibilities
all of my responsibilities
as lieutenant
as a lieutenant
in the Gloucester Township Police
in
Department
the Gloucester Township Police
to
Department
the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Lieutenant. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Lieutenant Massey. Next, we're going to be calling up 4 sergeants to be promoted. So we're going to have all 4 up here and we'll go through. I'd ask Sergeant David Benoni and his family to come forward, Sergeant Evan Thistle and his family to come forward, Sergeant Derek Rambo and his family to come forward, and Patrolman J. Del Duke, who will be officially promoted to sergeant tonight. David, start here. I have a lot to go through here, so step over here, Dave, just make sure we have room. Sergeant David Benoni here, badge number 226, was hired as a dispatcher with the Gloucester Township Police Department on May 1st, 2006. Sergeant Benoni has served his community as a volunteer firefighter with the Blackwood Fire Company for many years. He served as a fire officer and as a fire commissioner. He also served as an emergency medical technician with many EMS agencies, there is too many to list, and currently holds a national registry for EMT certification, which is a very difficult certification in the medical field to get for EMS. He was hired as a Gloucester Township police officer on January 3rd, 2011, and graduated from the Camden County College Police Academy class number 57. He has served as a patrol officer and was assigned as a community education officer and school resource officer, teaching the LEAD program from May 10, 2015 to September 21st, 2018. He served as a field training officer. He is currently our lead CPR instructor for the agency and he was also assigned as a patrol shift investigator on November 4, 2019. He was appointed as a member of our incident management team in March of 2020 and is currently also a drone operator. He was officially promoted to Sergeant of Police. Jumped you there. He was officially promoted to Sergeant of Police on October 24, 2022, and is currently assigned as a Deputy Platoon Commander on the 3rd Platoon. His awards are as follows: a Merit Award, 3 Life-Saving Awards, 6 Distinguished Unit Citations, 12 Outstanding Police Work Letters. He was recognized and awarded for his investigative police work by the Camden County Detectives Association in 2020, and he was nominated as Police Officer of the Year in 2022. He is joined tonight with his husband, Michael, and his father, John, who is a retired captain of the Washington Township Police Department. I'll move on. Thank you. Sergeant Evan Thistle. Sergeant Thistle was hired as a Gloucester Township police officer on August 3rd, 2015, and is a graduate of the Camden County College Police Academy class number 66. He has served as a patrol officer. He was assigned as a community education officer and school resource officer on February 3rd, 2020, teaching the LEAD program to children in our schools. He was assigned as a patrol shift investigator on January 6, 2021. And Sergeant Thistle was appointed to the Special Response Team as an operator on April 19, 2021. He was officially promoted to Sergeant of Police on October 24, 2022. He has served as a Deputy Platoon Commander and is currently assigned as a supervisor of our Operations Response Unit B. His awards include a Distinguished Unit Citation and 13 Outstanding Police Work Letters. Tonight, he's joined by his wife, Brianna, his parents, Mary and Howard, and his brothers, Richard and Steve. Okay. Sergeant Derek Rambo, badge number 212, started his career in law enforcement on February 1st, 2005 as a police officer with the Merchantville Borough Police Department. He is a graduate of the Camden County College Police Academy class number 44. Sergeant Rambo was hired as a Gloucester Township police officer on August 6, 2007. He has been assigned as a patrol officer. He was assigned as a patrol shift investigator on May 13, 2019. On November 11, 2019, he was appointed as a detective, serving in the Retail Theft Unit and the Juvenile Family Services Bureau Juvenile Investigations Unit. He was officially promoted to Sergeant of Police on October 24, 2022, and is assigned as a Deputy Platoon Commander of the 1st Patrol Platoon. His awards are as follows: a Police Service Citation, 4 Distinguished Unit Citations, and 3 Outstanding Police Work Letters. Sergeant Rambo was also recognized by the Camden County Detectives Association for his outstanding investigative police work. Sergeant Rambo is joined tonight with his wife, Diana, and his sons, Derek, Dawson, Drew, and Davin, and his parents and siblings are also present. You may have noticed I was saying for most of these officers, they were ceremoniously sworn in, because for them to officially, we gather everybody together and do this with council, and they get their official swearing in privately by the mayor, just to make it official so they can carry on their duties and their oaths of office. And tonight, this is unusual. Just by the timing of this, we have, as you notice, I introduced him as Patrolman J. Del Duke, because that's what he is up until this moment. He will be getting officially sworn in this evening and starting as a sergeant with the Gloucester Township Police Department. So we're very proud of that for him. And Officer Del Duke started his career in law enforcement when he was hired as a police officer with the Camden County Police Department on January 12, 2015. He is a graduating member of the Camden County College Police Academy, class number 65. He was hired as a Gloucester Township police officer on January 3rd, 2017. Sergeant Del Duke has been assigned as a patrol officer, and he is being officially promoted to Sergeant of Police today on March 13, 2023. He is currently assigned as a Deputy Platoon Commander for the 4th Platoon. His awards include 7 outstanding police work letters. He is joined tonight by his wife, Gianna, and as you met with Monsignor Mannion, his newborn son, Jackson. So he is returning from his paternity leave today to this promotion, so it's a pretty good day. He's also joined here by with his mother, Carol, and his father, Mike. So welcome. Mayor, President Mercado, I respectfully request that you promote David Vanoni, Evan Thistle, Derek Rambo, and J. Del Duke to the rank of Sergeant of Police of the Gloucester Township Police Department.
Thank you, Chief. Grandpop, you're doing a good job over there. I'll tell you, it's doing great. If all of you could please put your left hand on the Bible and raise your right hand, and please repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States and in this state under the authority of the people. I further solemnly swear that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all of my responsibilities as Sergeant in the Gloucester Township Police Department to the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations to all of you.
Congratulations, guys.
Good job, guys. Good job. Congratulations.
Back to work. Congratulations.
Next, I'd like to call up Patrolman Ryan Fink, badge number 321, and his family to come forward. And also Patrolman Brian Sarney, badge 322, to come forward with his family. Okay. Patrolman Ryan Fink, badge number 321. Prior to his career in law enforcement, Patrolman Fink was a certified EMT and served the Gloucester Township EMS service, the Mount Ephraim EMS service, and the Deptford Township EMS service. He was hired as a police officer with the Camden County Police Department on August 10, 2017, and is a graduate of the Camden County College Police Academy, class number 71. He was hired as a Gloucester Township police officer on May 9, 2022. He has 2 outstanding police work letters that were submitted by community members that he has worked with who described him as compassionate, respectful, and understanding. Upon completing his field training here at Gloucester Township, his platoon commander, Lieutenant Jason Fretz, had this to say: Patrolman Finks brings a lighthearted and entertaining demeanor to briefings. According to his fellow officers, he is an active listener and easy to talk to. Patrolman Fink gives consistent effort and tries hard to give his best every shift. Tonight, he is joined by his mother, Jean, his father, Ken, and his girlfriend, Katie. Officer Ryan Sarney, badge number 322. Patrolman Sarney may look familiar to you. He's been served here as a Class 1 Special Law Enforcement Officer for the Gloucester Township Police Department. He served here many council meetings from August 1st, 2014 to August 9th, 2017. He was hired as a police officer at the Camden County Police Department on August 10th, 2017, and is also a graduate of the Camden County College Police Academy number 71. He was hired as a police officer here at Gloucester Township on May 9th, 2022, and we're glad to have him back. His platoon commander, Lieutenant Massey, said about Patrolman Sarney, Patrolman Sarney has evolved in becoming an essential member of the 4th Platoon. His teamwork mentality combined with his determination to improve daily has made him a great addition to the Gloucester Township Police Department. Patrolman Sarney continues to invest in himself and works hard to grow as a person and as an officer. I am proud to have him as part of this team, and I am excited to his progression. Tonight, he is joined together by his wife, Dale. Mayor, President Mercado, I respectfully request that you swear in Officer Ryan Fink and Patrolman Officer Brian Sarney as police officers of the Gloucester Township Police Department.
Okay, if you could please raise your right hand, place your left hand on the Bible, and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States and in this state under the authority of the people. I further solemnly swear that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all of my responsibilities as a patrolman in the Gloucester Township Police Department to the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations.
So as new officers, we also have a tradition here in Gloucester Township. Typically, we do this when officers graduate from the police academy. As these officers already had graduated, came to us from the Camden County Police Department. We have a tradition. They were not presented. We have a tradition here of having issue the officers their challenge coins. Every officer is given 2 challenge coins with their badge number ingrained in it. It is a precious thing for each one of us. On one side, it has our commitment dedicated to service, committed to excellence with St. Michael for the protection. And on the front of the challenge coin, it has all of our values, including compassion, courage, honesty, respect, fairness, and integrity. And we give these to the officers to remind them of what we stand for here and for the community of Gloucester Township. So at this time, I want to present these to Officer Fink. Officer Sarni. In addition, when officers graduate from the police academy, again, we typically do this through welcome them aboard. We give every officer a copy mounted as so of the Gloucester Township Police mission statement. And this is just a reminder for them. We ask them to hang this proudly somewhere officers have to get dressed, get uniformed up. We suggest that they hang that in that area so it reminds them of what our duties are. As part of our goal, we will protect the lives and property of the citizens of Gloucester Township, preserve the peace and order of the community, be sensitive, understanding, responsive to the needs of the community, foster and maintain a positive public image of the police department and the community, and to interact with the community by getting organizations, leaders, and citizens involved in the total law enforcement officers, and most important, to be role models to the children of the township, to teach them to resist temptation to do wrong, and to build a relationship based on mutual respect and trust. And every one of these is being issued honorably presented on this 13th day of March, 2023, to Officer Ryan Fink and Officer Brian Sarni in recognition of your commitment of serving the community of Gloucester Township. So I present these to you. Congratulations. Okay, thank you guys. Congratulations. We also have a special swearing in tonight. I ask Officer Christopher Fascini and his canine partner, Dixie, to come forward. Nobody's going to look at me, I know. I know. With the support of the mayor and council, the Gloucester Township Police Department, we've had some changes in our canine unit as we go and we evaluate our needs. One of the things that this agency, this department, the men and women believe heavily in is the ability to locate missing children, missing people. We're nationally certified by the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. And we've committed a great deal of resources and training on these topics because we know, even though, we are very good and we put a lot into criminal detection, suppression, and apprehension, we also know that a missing child or a missing loved one, maybe Alzheimer's, maybe someone who's lost, is an important thing, as well as being able to track criminals. So for criminal apprehension. So we've invested with the support of the mayor and council. Dixie here is our second bloodhound. We were so successful, and I don't know if he's here, but Officer Jim Evans and his canine partner Venus were our first bloodhound. There's not a whole lot of bloodhounds in the area, but we've committed a great deal of resource. We saw that was so successful with Officer Evans that we committed to having a second one, and Officer Fascini stepped up to take on this role. This is a difficult role. To be a handler of a canine handler in any way is a difficult role, and it takes a great deal of commitment. And Officer Fascini stepped up to do that with Dixie. So enough about that. Dixie, there's a little bit about Dixie because everybody loves to hear about Dixie. She is a bloodhound trained in tracking. okay? And these dogs and their handlers can track people up to 8 miles. And that's quite a distance for a dog, and we've seen it in action. She recently graduated from the Cape May County Sheriff's Office's Bloodhound Academy class number 10 on January 13, 2023, along with her handler, Patrolman Christopher Fascini, after 12 weeks of intensive training. She's currently assigned to the Operations Division, Patrol Bureau, 3rd Platoon. K-9 Dixie here, along with Patrolman Fascini, are also assigned as part of the Camden County Prosecutor's Office Child Abduction Response Team and the Camden County Search and Rescue Team. K-9 Dixie is from Edisto Island, South Carolina, where her training began just weeks after she was born. Her main job is to trail human scent to locate a missing person or someone who's committed a crime. K-9 Dixie just turned 1 year old on January 25th, 2023, and she enjoys playing with her toys and eating any food that she can. K-9 Dixie enjoys following Patrolman Fascini around and always keeps a close eye on her partner's every move. And I commend Officer Evans and I commend Officer Fascini because the amount of work that has to go in, and the amount of physical work they have to put in, all kinds of weather, the training they go through water, through mud, all through the heat in Edisto Island. That's where Officer Fascini went down to pick her up and began training at that point. So, and we're very lucky. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. This is such a great resource for us to have in those times of need, and we've already had many successes. So without further ado, I ask Mayor and Council President Mercado if you could swear in K-9 Dixie as a member of the Gloucester Township Police Department.
Happy to do so, Chief. So is she going to raise her paw or are you going to raise your right hand? Why don't you just raise your right hand and repeat after me? I state your name. Your name. On behalf of my K-9 partner, Dixie,
On behalf of my K-9 partner, Dixie,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of people.
I further solemnly swear
I further solemnly swear
that we will faithfully,
that we faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
our duties
our duties
as a K-9 officer and K-9
as K-9 officer and K-9
in the Gloucester Township Police Department.
in the Gloucester Township Police Department.
I further solemnly swear
I further solemnly swear
that Dixie
that Dixie
will
will
patrol all areas of Gloucester Township
all areas of Gloucester County
in the spirit
in the spirit
of justice and safety.
of justice and safety.
So help us God.
So help us God.
Congratulations.
For the badge presentation, I'm going to go, I guess he's like the grandfather here. So I'm going to ask retired Deputy Warden Fascini, retired from the Camden County Department of Corrections, Chris's father, to put the badge on Dixie. Again, I want to thank Mayor and Council for the support that you give the law enforcement, for the police officers here and all the families also. Thank you for coming out, for being here tonight. Thank you for supporting us. With incidents that happened on Friday, having that support of the community, I can't tell you how important it is. Having the support of the families, it reminds us of our duties. It reminds us of the dangers of the job and the profession that we take in, and we couldn't do so without having the back of the support of a mayor and council, other officials, business administrators, part of the team. the municipal clerk's part of the team. We're lucky. We have a family here in Gloucester Township. We're very blessed to have so. So I want to thank all those that came out. And I will again thank Mayor and Council for all the support of the police department. Thank you, sir.
Chief, thanks so much, and thank you all for being here tonight. As the Chief mentioned earlier, this is really a celebration. It's a celebration of the success of this Gloucester Township Police Department. And today we celebrate the promotion of officers, and we welcome new officers, including our K-9 Dixie. I have to tell you a little secret. The secret is I can sleep really well at night because I know the men and women of this Gloucester Township Police Department are on duty 24/7, protecting my family, your family, all of us. And we are so very proud of this department that has accomplished so much. I mean, in my 13 years here, I have seen this department not only grow, but just be a model for other policing agencies throughout the nation. When people emulate what you're doing, that means you're doing something right. And we're doing something right here in Gloucester Township. And I appreciate the efforts of our Gloucester Township Police Department, their men and women. It's great to see our recruits here today because one day, soon, they will put the proud uniform on of a Gloucester Township Police officer. And I'll be honored to swear them in at that time. So, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of our council and myself, I want to thank all of you, the families of our officers, for what you do, to support our officers day in and day out. And I want to close with a quick story I was just talking to Mark about. Early on, when I became mayor, I got involved with the K-9 units. I saw them train. I was so very impressed with what they could do. And so they started to compete in national events. And we went to one of the events, I think it was in Florida, and I can remember it was my first time. And I can remember them saying to me, we had 2 homes that we rented just for the week, because it's a week-long process. And I can remember them saying, look, they all have to stay in their kennels. And, you know, we don't really let them get out together, or let them, if nobody's around, the dogs don't get out of their kennels. Fine, I get there. And I just get there, get situated. I go out to the living room. No one's around. TV's on, so I sit on the couch. All of a sudden, a dog comes running out around the corner into the living room. I don't know what to do because I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm a stranger. And I'm thinking this dog doesn't know me. But I have to tell you, all it wanted to do was play. It was a normal dog until it is put into action by the commands of their handler. So very, very well-trained dogs. And so Mark and Jim and the whole gang, all of our K-9 officers, it takes a lot, as the chief said, a lot of devotion to be a K-9 handler. So I thank all of them. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for being here tonight. Appreciate your support of the Gloucester Township Police Department. Have a great evening. Thanks.
We'll take a 10-minute recess before the council meeting resumes.
If I could have the newly sworn in officers and promoted officers come forward for photos, please.
Chuck, can you look back there? Sorry. The bigger guy. Hold me up, Greg.
I'm sorry. we're sad.
See you later. Great day.
Yes, I do.
I said, Mike, you're trying to talk to me. I told
Congratulations. Yeah, I am.
How did Stephanie go? She ready? Did she change the diaper?
Yeah. It was for like the 10 minutes I was up there. I think I was like the first whole.
She said, I think I did good.
Yeah, it was
She said, she go down and said, I don't know. I don't know cheese. I said, just hang in between. I said, you get the sack. I said, that's all you gotta do. She said, just be careful. Andy was here. We watched him Saturday night. I was bad night first, so I got the water already. He took his clothes off, and ready to take his diaper off. And he gets real quiet and he's smiling. I had just changed it. I take the diaper off, and all of a sudden here he goes. And he said, oh, and he just starts there. So I covered it up. And he got real quiet again. I said, I was not. Opened up a little bit, squirted out again. And he's looking at me. So then I pulled it over and I let him see it. He's looking around from his phone. He's watching himself.
They say a bunch of times.
Don't let
Family share.
Did you see when you was announced it? She got out.
I think I got them all in there.
Yeah, sure. What was Jay in it?
Let me get the Dixie in there.
Don't pay attention. Now, she's gonna come back. I know. Definitely
All my friends do it. They literally, my one girlfriend literally just not like all over the set. But it really does help the skin.
I have a blanket. I'm sorry, I thought I gave it to the shower. And then when Jay showed me a blanket, I said, no, that's got both of them. No, but I have one. Well, we're running out of voice blankets. It's very minimal, it's all girls.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
All right, I'll see you guys.
Give me a kiss.
I was a little nervous. That's why I gotta get out of here.
A little sooner than expected, I think. I was gonna call them. That's why we might be part of it. I have to share. Says proud of my daddy.
See ya. Good, how are you? Oh, nice. Now you would have remembered.
Jim, Ray Powell.
Like he stretches and he like.
I did 6 more years. I was in a sentence for New Jersey. 6 more years. Exit, stage left. Yeah, 2 more rides. One grandson. And
That's number 3.
That was the first one.
Number 4 was 1 week after. And then number 5 is coming in July.
boys.
Yeah, July is a state deal program.
You got it.
But they make baskets. We're in Delaware.
You were pals. Wow. People wanted out. You guys made them out.
Just
How to go back.
Here, I saw your picture. He's got a gun. It's like we're watching the police radio. Everybody's running out of town.
I looked at that name and I said, "That's it."
How are you doing? Very excited. Excited for him. He's a good kid. I don't know how he turned out. I said my contribution to congratulations, my wife, congratulations. Hey,
Chief, how are you?
I took a picture and then.
Number 3 number 4 came a week later. And the first granddaughter's coming in July.
Congratulations, Jay. Thank you. You made it too, bud. Nice job.
Good to see you, Mr. Ray. I was kidding about taking your job. I'm not coming back to Gloucester Township, that's for sure.
It's on tape, buddy.
I know. Everything's on tape.
Madam Clerk, can I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Hutchison. Ms. Grace. Here. Mrs. Albrecht. Here. Mrs. Winters. Here. Mr. Young.
Here.
Mr. Mercado.
Present.
Mr. Carlemere.
Here.
Mr. Curtis.
Here.
Chief Harkins. He's here. Mr. McGill.
Waive the reading, accept the minutes of regular session February 13th, 2023 and February 27th, 2023. Entertain a motion.
Second.
On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. Hutchison.
Yes.
Ms. Grace.
Yes.
Mrs. Albrecht Troxel.
Yes.
Mrs. Winters. Same for both. Mr. Mignon.
Yes to both.
Mr. Mercado.
Yes, now we have the public portion. This is for agenda items only. Anyone wishing to address council, please raise your hand. You may speak up to 3 minutes. There's 15 minutes that are appropriated for the first public portion. Anyone wish to speak on agenda items? Seeing none, we'll close the first public portion. Consent agenda. Any council member would like to have any of the items removed on the consent agenda, please speak up. Hearing none, I entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Thank you. On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. Hutchison.
Yes.
Ms. Grace.
Yes.
Mrs. Albrecht Troxel.
Yes.
Mrs. Winters.
Yes.
Mr. Mignon.
Yes.
Mr. Mercado.
Yes. Next, we have a GTE Gov access email from Denise Coyne at 1062 Landing Road, Gloucester Township, New Jersey. Correction made to question 2. During the meeting on January 23rd, President Mercado mentioned that council was interested in redeveloping the property in the village of Gloucester because they believe it's an area in need of redevelopment. However, it's worth noting that the villages of Gloucester already had a redevelopment plan in place for many years. Regarding the 16 lots in question, it was stated at the meeting that the existing plan could proceed without any further redevelopment studies or investigation reports. If the study report confirmed that the 16 lots met the criteria for a redevelopment zone, what would that designation have allowed you to do that otherwise not be possible if the study was not done? 2, will building the Lakeland Connector Trail impact the 16 lots in the village of Gloucester study area in any way, either positively or negatively in regards to meeting any of the redevelopment zone criteria? And 3, did Mr. Carlemere get an update from Mr. Bach and or the planning board on when the study report will be reviewed? Ms. Coyne, we weren't able to get the first 2 of those questions answered for you in time. We received this a little bit later, and Mr. Curtis and myself were tasked with other things during the day, so we'll get you an answer as soon as possible. Mr. Carlemere, do you want to comment on number 3?
I did not reach out to Mr. Bach, but I will follow up with him to see if he has any information on the status of that, as it might appear before.
Thank you. Next is a second public portion. Any member of the public wishes to address council. Each member is entitled to 5 minutes. There is a 30-minute time period during this public portion. Anyone wish to speak during the second public portion? Yes. You know what? We need to bring a mic.
I'll take it.
Okay. Thank you, Chief.
Fix that.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for this time. My name is Ken Bear. I live on Haddon Avenue in Gibbsboro, and I'm here tonight as the Secretary Treasurer of Teamsters Local 500. And as such, I'm the business agent for the bargaining unit represented by the GTMUA. And I'm here to get some kind of response out of you all about what's going to happen with our members. They were told back in January that there was going to be some kind of consolidation with the township. And I think 2 months is certainly long enough for you all to have some type of plan in place and to inform the members what your intentions are.
Okay, that's correct. Your members did come here and ask for some questions. We have a deadline to submit paperwork to the local finance board regarding absorbing the dissolution of the MUA and moving that under the township. Mr. Cardis had informed me during the recess that he is scheduling a meeting with the head of the bargaining unit there. Is that correct? You want to comment on that, Mr. Cardis?
I'm more than willing to meet. I was away on vacation in Florida last week. That's why we didn't have a meeting last week, but I'm available this week to meet with whoever the shop steward is. I guess it will be Mr.
Well, the shop steward is not the head of the bargaining unit. I am.
Then I'll meet with you then.
Okay. With the shop stewards, 2 shop stewards, Paul and Anthony.
That's fine.
We'll set up, if you give me your contact information, we'll set up a time and date where we can get this resolved. I'm looking, that you still recognize the contract that they currently have with the GTMUA with Teamsters Local 500.
That's the plan.
Okay, great. Please, I'd like to have your contact information after the meeting if you don't mind.
We'll do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bear. Is there anyone else? Mr. Krug.
Evening, Council. Paul Krug, Blackwood Estates.
Good evening.
I sent council and the administration an email yesterday. Just wanted to confirm receipt of that email.
I did. Thank you very much for that email. Very informative.
Yes, thank you. I don't expect that you will have had time to read through and have fully investigated everything I put in there, but if you did you have any questions or anything you had wanted to discuss with regard to that email?
I guess my question is when you so Paul had sent an email for those in the public who are not aware of it or watching at home, Mr. Krug, about what Pittman, the town of Pittman did with an old bank building there, which is now
Merriman's Pub, yes.
Okay, so they had 2 proprietors there, Menino, who owns a restaurant, has 3 properties there, and then Merriman, I believe, or whatever. And there was a liquor license that was for sale, I believe, for $550,000, and they thought it was too expensive. So what they did, the township, is that the township took over the building, or they owned the building, and they leased it out to the proprietors, Menino and Merriman, I'm sorry, screwing up the name, I apologize. And to avoid the liquor license was to get a concessionaire's permit or license where they were able to sell alcohol. And that concessionaire's license or permit, and Nancy's shaking her head because this is in her wheelhouse. It's $2,000. Is that per month or per year?
That is
What do you
per,
think is
I think that's per year.
per year? Okay. So that's the email that Mr. Krug had sent to me. It talked about possibly if that's something that could happen at the bank building on Church and Blackwood Pike. As we stated here earlier, you've attended these meetings, that a black box is envisioned for that particular site. And the second part of your email was talking about pickleball courts and that the Now there's a private pickleball operator coming to town, so why not save $500,000 of taxpayers' money and not have a pickleball court? So those are pickleball courts that we had scheduled for Hickstown Park, diverted elsewhere. Okay, so that's the gist of your email.
That's right, yes.
So I found it very interesting, the Pittman part. The pickleball courts, that is committed, we're moving forward with that.
Okay, understood. Just on behalf of that private industry with the pickleball courts, supposedly it's gonna be professional tournament level pickleball courts, a pro shop and a juice bar. My point there was that as government had recognized there was a demand, so did private industry. Let's allow private industry to do its job and supply that demand as opposed to using the taxpayers' money to supply that demand. That was the gist there. I hope that maybe there would be consideration for the Merriman's Pub idea. I found it unique how they approached that situation, and I marked in my comments that I thought it could provide a greater inflection point venue for the downtown area as opposed to a performing arts center, which we have in Main Stage. So that was the suggestion. I also wanted to bring up tonight, it's budget season. We know I usually go into some data around this time. Last week, I had talked about the last 20 years, which you know I go back and look at, and how the budget from 2001, $14 million, to last year, 2021, last available to the state was $54 million. Well, I also pulled the data for 2021 and ran comparables. And you know that my favorite comparable is Washington Township, and council's seemingly favorite comparable is Cherry Hill. So in 2021, Gloucester Township obviously collected that $54,200,000 in order to have the operating budget. At the same time, Washington Township was able to operate on a $30 million budget, $30,600,000. And Cherry Hill was able to operate on a $46,500,000 budget. Now, when you talk about the pie chart, which is the breakdown of county to school to municipal, I'm going to focus on municipal. The share of property taxes for municipal in Gloucester Township is 30.9%, whereas in Washington Township, it's 19.7%, and in Cherry Hill, it's 15.4%. When you look at the property tax rates, in Gloucester Township, we're 1.2. In Washington Township, we're 0.64. And in Cherry Hill, we're 0.58. So across all of those metrics, and I realize I'm up against time, we're significantly higher in our operating budget and taxation rate than the comparables, both your comparable and mine. So I will send an additional email with this information, although it is readily available through nj.gov. It's the DCA tax viewer, which is a spreadsheet and has visualizations as well. So I'd ask you to look at this and we can continue our dialogue. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kruger. Is there anyone else? Ms. Coyne?
Good evening, Denise Coyne, Shoes Landing.
Good evening.
If I remember correctly, when we first started having the discussions about the township taking over the bank building, I think I remember something about us getting grant money in order to purchase that building. And one of the stipulations was it had to remain in the hands of a 501c nonprofit.
I'm not sure about the 501c3. I know there was grant money.
I think I remember somebody saying that it had to remain in the hands of a nonprofit.
I don't recall that.
Nothing did happen, I just don't remember that.
How would we find that out? Because I'm pretty sure that that's the case.
So you thought that was said? Well, we have people that videotape and people that break down our.
Yeah, but I mean, when was
I'm
that?
responding to you, I'm sorry. Okay, what was,
When was it? Do you recall?
I don't recall. I don't recall anyone saying it had to be in the hands of a 501c3.
When did this first come up, though, is what I'm asking. When would I go back and start looking?
Mr. Cardis, you have an idea of,
Do not, but I'm gonna find out.
mid last year?
I'm gonna find out the answer to your question by talking to Triad.
Okay, sure. Yeah, rather than speculate, let's get an answer. Try it, and we'll give you that answer this week.
Okay, and the Lakeland Connector Trail, I noticed that there's going to be a meeting beginning of April at 10 o'clock in the morning. Can you state what the purpose of that meeting will be?
I got notification too, but that's a public hearing on it. Tom, I know that's, Gina has sent that out. I believe it's April 6th at 10 a.m.
I know it's the beginning of April, and I know it's at 10 o'clock in the morning.
It's a public hearing that has to take place. I'll get some additional information for you, Ms. Corn. I have your email. I'll send that to you tomorrow morning.
Okay, I believe that Lakeland Connector Trail runs through the village of Gloucester, or maybe totally in the village of Gloucester. I haven't had time to research that yet. But if that's the case, doesn't that have to go in front of council as the redevelopment entity?
I believe that was part of your question that you asked in your EGOV, and I did not have an answer for you.
No, that was not part of my question.
Well, you put that into the Lakeland Connector, and you indicated, is that going to be part of the villages of Gloucester?
No, I said, would it impact the lots?
Okay.
But I'm now asking if that should be heard by the redevelopment entity if it's in a redevelopment area.
Mr. Carlmer is our legal counsel. Can you provide that information?
Yeah, I can review that, but just trying to understand your question. I don't see how why that would have to come before the redevelopment entity, but I'll look into it.
Because I thought council, as the redevelopment entity, had to hear any changes to a redevelopment plan.
Well, anytime we have a area that's been designated redevelopment area, our ordinance requires any developer going into an area that's been designated for redevelopment by the governing body. That requires them to come before the council, and this town serves as a redevelopment entity, to present their plans and get approval from the entity to go forward. And their application before a planning board is never complete for completeness purposes until that redevelopment entity agreement is signed. That's one of the requirements that a developer has to present, that he has the okay from the redevelopment entity. When they change their plans, they have to come back before the redevelopment entity. So I don't know if there's a connector trail, not familiar with if that's an easement area or how that's functioning, like a bike trail has come to my mind, why that would have to come before the redevelopment.
Okay, and the other question I have is, in my eGov, I asked about the study and essentially why that was done, because there's already a plan in existence that you stated at a previous meeting that could be used without being changed to redevelop that area. So I want to know what was the purpose of doing the study? What would that get? If you could already redevelop the plan without the study, why are you doing the study? And for you to say that you have to get back to me, you guys are the redevelopment entity, you approved the study, you must have approved it for a reason.
Yeah.
So, okay, so if it came back positive, what would that do? What difference would that make?
I wanted to make sure I gave you an accurate response, so that's why I didn't have that information for you. So I'll have that information for you.
So you can't tell me why council approved that redevelopment study tonight?
It was an area of redevelopment, and you quoted me in your ego.
Yeah, and there's already a plan in place, so what's the point of doing the study?
So I will provide you an accurate answer for you next time.
Okay, but you already approved it. You must have had a reason for approving it. You can't tell me what that reason was.
There was areas that we wanted to address in that area, in area redevelopment.
And it already had a plan.
Every redevelopment proposal has to go before the planning board. And there is a presentation at the planning board level as to why a particular area meets the criteria under the statute in New Jersey to be designated a redevelopment zone. And it doesn't become a redevelopment zone until the planning board has that public hearing at their level. And that the planning board then makes a recommendation to the governing body that according to the study that was presented to them by a professional, that the areas in whatever area that's being designated meets the requirement, and therefore you can have this as a redevelopment zone district. Then the planning board has to say what is a permitted use, what's the criteria of development, before that becomes part of the governing body's ordinance and before the redevelopment entity has any jurisdiction over that area.
Thank you for that explanation. I understand that, but it doesn't answer my question.
Thank you for your time, Ms. Coyne.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else? Seeing none, we'll go to the second public portion, polling of directors.
Mr. Barlow,
Nothing to present.
Mr. Curtis,
Nothing at this time.
Chief Harkins,
We are having an open house at our training center at the Gloucester Premium Outlets from 11 to 3. It's one of our recruiting events. We have an open house. Invite anybody interested in any position with the Gloucester Township Police Department to attend. Our information is on our website and on our social media and Facebook site. Thank you. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for the time tonight. I know it delayed everything, but it's much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Mr. McGill,
Nothing to add, thank you.
Mr. Hutchison,
Very nice presentation this evening. Thank you very much.
Ms. Grace,
Thank you everyone for coming out tonight. Have a great night.
Mrs. Albright Troxel,
I never was in a room with so many guns and felt so safe. And congratulate all the police. I really feel very happy that I can live in Gloucester Township because I feel very safe in this town, and I've felt safe here for a very long time. And I thank you and all the police, all of them. So, and thank you all for coming. Thank you to the business agent for coming.
Mrs. Winters,
I want to thank everyone for coming out. I want to congratulate all the officers. Those ceremonies are always enjoyable. I just want to note that the Gloucester Township Hockey Alliance, during their tournament season, they went to their first tournament, which happened to be in Mays Landing, and they won the top level for 4 different age groups. So that's the first one. This week, they're currently in Marlton. And I believe the Gloucester Township one, I think, is at the end of May, but I have to double check the dates on that. And that's the one where I think last year we had 90 or 105 teams or something like that come to the area. So this is kind of the first step to that ending final tournament. And have a great night.
Mr. Mignon,
Congratulations to all the officers tonight. One of the officers, Brian Sarney, I got an opportunity to meet his father and him 16 years ago at Area Little League. And ironically enough, tonight at our workshop, we had talked about getting not a pole barn, but a batting cage, indoor batting cage. And I was talking to Brian, his father, about that. And he said, I'm thinking about coming back coaching. So it goes around, a great family to get back to the community. And just wanted to mention that. Thank you all. Have a safe night.
Mr. Mercado?
I want to thank everyone for coming out this evening. Chief, a wonderful presentation, and congratulations to all the officers that were promoted this evening. At our next council meeting on the 27th, we are celebrating Women's History Month by celebrating women who make a difference in Gloucester Township. So we'll have 10 women that will be celebrated on that date on Monday, March 27th. I entertain a motion to adjourn. Is there a second? Second. All those in favor? Aye. Have a great evening.
Good job, Chief.
You were stepping down.